We ready?
Ready.
Okay, well, hi, everybody. I'm Rene Boer with my cycling buddy, Tommy O'Donnell, and this is day 13 on our cross-country trip from Brookings, South Dakota. We've gone through 4 states.
Yeah.
We crossed Lake Michigan on the SS Badger, which is a historic
That was
landmark.
amazing.
It's a steamship,
Mhm.
which was pretty cool. And today we went from Attica, Michigan, which is on the other side of Flint, to Sombra, Ontario. So we are broadcasting from Ontario, Canada today.
Yeah.
So today we had a little
Across
bit of
the
everything.
border.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had a little bit of everything. High winds, great breakfast, great lunch.
Yeah.
And I just got to point out, yesterday we had our best service experience ever at Al's Quick Release Bike Shop in Davison, Michigan. You cannot make this stuff up. Al greeted us at the door and took care of both of our bikes, and we were in and out of there in, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Great guy. Getting
Yeah.
ready to retire. We tried to talk him into joining us on the bike ride.
Hmm.
And then today we actually called him back to see if he was regretting not going with us. And in fact, he was, but he still held firm and continued to work. So anyway, so today we have our special guest, Daniel Moshe, who is an EOS implementer in Minneapolis,
Perfect.
which is now my hometown.
All
my new
right.
hometown.
Yeah.
Daniel's a great guy. So Daniel, we want to thank you to the program. We've got a bunch of questions for you, and we also have our question of the day. So do you want to tee up the question of the day for Daniel? So we're going to give you a few minutes to think about this.
All right.
As we ask you some questions about yourself and about leadership. Are you up for this?
I'm up for it. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
All right. So this question was from Shauntavia Kizer from North Lawndale College Prep, and that's in Chicago. And her question was, what drives you to keep chasing what's important to you?
It's a good one.
Yeah. So think about that one.
So we'll give you a few minutes to think about that.
Then we'll
one.
get,
But in the meantime, just here's a list of questions for you. So you're a very interesting person, got a great background. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, Daniel. Where you grew up, how you started in business, kind of some career highlights, and what brought you to where we are today.
Thank you. I grew up in McAllen, Texas. I don't think either of you probably knew that.
No.
And then Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Do you?
Yes.
They call it the Valley, the Rio Grande Valley, in the very southmost part of Texas. It's where my parents serendipitously met. And then I'm the oldest of 3 brothers. The brothers are kind of scattered throughout the U.S. nowadays. I'm the only one in Minneapolis. But I grew up in Eau Claire, Wisconsin through high school. And that's where I started really riding on my bicycle around town and helping people with their computers. At one point, I even had a pager. Where people, that's right. Yeah. And I had one of those.
I know.
I had one of those sweet Nokia, like they call them ice cream sandwich, like phones.
Totally.
With 20 minutes a month. That's all I could afford on my phone. So calls were very short and sweet. And just helping people with their computers. And I got my start with computers when one of my middle school counselors kind of really believed in me and arranged for some funding for me to go to a summer science camp for nerds, and where I learned how to build a computer. And then after that, it was pretty cool. So I spent 2 weeks building a computer over the summer that I got to take home with me when it was done. It was really a special experience that started a whole thing that I'm sure that this guy never could have imagined.
What year was that?
Thank you for asking. Let's see, graduated.
See, you are the world's oldest man, and now we're going to catch him out on this one.
Yeah, well, I graduated high school in 2003. So this would have been probably 1999 then, roughly, or 98, 99. That sounds about right.
That's recent.
So
history.
Yeah, not too bad. It was a decent computer, Windows 98, and I had the opportunity. Well, no, then I figured I knew everything there was to know about computers because, of course, at the age of 14 or whatever, I knew everything at that point. So I figured I should go try to find a job. So I would ride my bicycle, I would call, and I would dial up to my free Juno email account and email the service manager at this local computer shop, and just was constantly, persistently trying to get a job because it was close to my house. I could ride my bike there, and I didn't even know what they did or what I would do for them. But I'm lucky. One day, I just showed up. I just showed up unannounced, and he interviewed me, the service manager on the spot, Darren, and hired me. He's like, "Can you start this afternoon?" I'm like, "Okay." And
A
and they
rigorous
needed,
selection process.
yeah,
I can say, yes.
and they needed hundreds of computers kind of put together and shipped out the door, and that was what I did for that whole summer. And I worked throughout the my high school years at that place, and learned so much, learned everything really about computers, and then I was able to leverage that to go and help other people with their computers. Then I got into the University of Minnesota, the business school, and so I moved to the big scary city of Minneapolis, and then kind of things started again here.
Yeah.
With this time, I had my little Honda Accord to be able to get around town, and then one thing led to another, and Tech Guru is now at 3.5 million in revenue. We got 15 employees, and we're the IT department for accounting firms. That's our niche focus.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Nice.
What are you working on now? You've always
Yeah,
got-
great question. I'm always
Yeah.
working on something. We're so this CPA firm focus. This was a discovery through really our own use of EOS and less is more kind of concept and niche and things like that. And we found that just being an IT generalist was too hard to differentiate ourselves, and there was a downward price pressure, so the market was tough. We said, hey, what's a great industry to specialize in? And so we said dentistry. Oh, yes, IT for dentistry. So it took us about 6 months to figure out that was a terrible idea. And then we pivoted to the CPA firms, which have so much complexity around technology, and they're so dependent on it. And I love the back office function of our business and other people's businesses. And so it just made perfect sense. And so what I'm working on right now is my rocks, I guess, if you want to call it, for this quarter, we're working on an explainer video. When you say you do IT for CPAs, people still don't quite get it. They're like, oh, that's websites, right? No, not quite. We're the IT department, network, computers, apps, software, backup, security. So we're doing an explainer video. So that's really exciting this quarter. And then I'm working on implementing a dreams. Have you guys heard of this? Like a dreams program. So it's where I'm helping each of our employees build a personal plan,
nice.
one by one.
Yeah.
One by one, and then working with them to help them help their dreams come true, whatever their life dreams are.
Very cool.
So it's kind of a pilot. A manager nominated someone to do it first, and I had the first meeting this past week, and it's really cool. So I'm helping them build a personal plan and make meaningful steps towards helping their dreams come true. And it's really moving and powerful. And sometimes there's little things that we can help with that are connections that we have that they don't even realize, or they wouldn't be able to find, that we can help make a meaningful difference in their lives. So those are a couple things I'm working on right now, as well as helping 16 companies implement EOS, of course.
There you
I
go.
love that as well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, the mission of North Lawndale College Prep, is to really develop tomorrow's leaders today.
Right on.
And it's not only about graduating high school, but going on to college. And I would just love to hear about your educational experience. What was the biggest takeaway that you had from your college experience at the University of Minnesota?
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing you learned?
Yeah, I guess I would say that it's just that value of persistence and not giving up. I mean, I really that's gotten me very, very far throughout the years. I mean, University of Minnesota was a great place to learn. What was so cool is that I was running my business at the same time I was going to classes. So I'd walk out of my accounting 2050 and I'd have a call with my CPA, and figure out the finances, or I'd be coming out of my marketing class and be leveraging some of the things I learned with my business and our marketing.
Yeah.
It was also a balancing act. I'd also walk out of classes and have 16 voicemails on my phone and figure out how to get to everybody and take care of everybody. And it was during that time when, and I think that it was some of the case studies that we worked on, and and things that in class that kind of inspired me to make one of the most important decisions I made in my business career, which was when I was totally just overloaded with business and clients, and I had to make this decision. I either started to have to say no to people, like I cannot help you, I will refer you to somebody else or whatever, but I can't do this, or I need to grow the company and make it more than just myself. And it was a really tough decision, and one that I wasn't sure what to do. And ultimately I said, all right, I'm going to need to get some help. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to find it, see if I could make it so somebody can do it as well as I can, which of course, that getting over that hurdle and being okay with 80% was a big step. But the decision to grow and scale the business was something that I was inspired by my peers that were starting businesses at the U, and by the things that we were studying about other companies as well.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Who's been the biggest influence in your life? Who's had the biggest impact?
Yeah, it's a great question and a tough one. There's been so many great people that have mentored me throughout the years, and I just think about maybe recent times that my husband Max would be the first person that comes to mind. And in so many ways, he helps me become the best version of myself. You know, I hate it sometimes, but he asks these really good questions. You know, and I just think he's a great partner in life. And he comes from a psychology background. He's also studying at the University of Minnesota on his PhD. And so just the way that he thinks about things is so different from the way that I do sometimes, that it challenges me in a good way. And then I just find also that when it comes to parenting our 6 and 8 year old boys, he's just an incredibly good partner in that as well. Again, just in the way that he thinks about things, and the way the way that sometimes I like almost want to regret saying these things, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going for Dad of the Year. I'm going to be Dad of the Year. Yeah. And then that's what he reminds me of that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm tired. It's been a long week. And he's like, Dad of the Year, super dad. Anyway, so it's things like that I just think that I got to say, over the last 5 years that we've been together, he's been an incredibly influential part of my life.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cool.
Good.
So are you ready for the big question of today?
Run it by me again. Let's tee it up.
All right, so I'll reread the question then. So, what drives you to keep chasing what's important to you? And that was a question from Shauntavia, Kizer.
It's a great question, and sometimes you get knocked over, and you get scraped up knees, and why do you keep getting back up again? I've certainly hit my own obstacles and roadblocks in business. Like that dentistry thing is a perfect example. That would have been a great opportunity just to say, forget the specialization thing. Let's just go back to doing what we've always known. And I think it comes down to like this kind of greater vision. I also use a personal plan for my life. It's like a vision for my life and these bigger goals, and it includes things like investing in my kids' first companies. I hope that I don't know if they'll be entrepreneurial or not. I don't know what that looks like. But like, I want to be in line. I want to be their first investor. I want to be helping invest in their education. And so it's those kind of bigger, long-term life bucket list type goals. Helping explore the world with them, giving back, help teaching them the concept of giving back. Is something that really drives me and makes some of these like smaller, and it makes these things kind of just seem trivial and inconsequential. Some of these things that we run into, from time to time. And I also just think like one of my main purposes is just making a positive impact on the world. And even if it's in a small way, I see the way that through my work with companies, helping them implement EOS, when they come back to me after a great quarter, the huge difference that they've made through using these tools that we've been teaching them, and then how that's impacting the lives of all their employees and improving their quality of life for their employees, then for their families. It's just so powerful to me, and gives me chills, and it's just deeply, deeply meaningful. And it's like, that's why I do this. That's why
Yeah.
I go, cut through the whatever red tape I have to, we have to cut through and go through the setbacks and the challenges, because it's worth it for leaving that, for making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
What do you guys
Good.
think?
Yeah. So here's just a question for you. Where do you see yourself, say, 10 years from now? Your
Yeah,
boys
no,
are going to be teenagers. So
they'll be teenagers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I do think of, and I do think about it, kind of 10 years out. I want to be able to, explore other parts of the world and again, kind of make a difference in other places. We're traveling and exploring together with my kiddos, but then also, like, just in many ways, just kind of teach until they're 18. It's still, I'm very much focused on and centric on that. That next phase of my life, when we don't have kids, things, then things can be a little bit different. But it's about teaching them how to be great world citizens and being accepting and loving of everyone, and all those different facets. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to tell you. So Minneapolis, Minneapolis and Minnetonka, this is base camp for us, and you can get to so many places from MSP. The whole world. We're connected to the whole world that way. But again, it's just experiencing, creating special experiences. Have you ever heard this concept of like 18 summers? Right? We got 18 summer. We got 18 summers together with our kids. I got 10 to go. 10 with one and 12 with the other. It's like kind of getting the most out of every moment that we have together, being present. And that's extra tough because I'm no longer married to their mom, right? And so I only see them half, more or less half the time. So what's actually kind of cool about that is the time that we have together. It's like I'm 100% present and engaged, and then it's like almost like the off weekends are just like me getting ready for the next like weekend with my kids. So and kind of making it even better and lining up stuff with friends, and I really also believe very much in an open family. And so we've invited exchange students into our home in the past, and we've got more coming. And then just like kind of creating this open kind of family where we're connected with lots of other families and spend time together as well. So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but yeah, very very great. Parenting and child centric right now.
Pearls of wisdoms in there. Yeah, so very, 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 very good. Yeah. So it was a delight having you on our program. Thank you, Daniel, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're
loving it.
So, means a lot to Tom.
I hope to be able to join you guys when you do this again. I would need to do some training.
Hold that thought, because next year we're gonna ride around Lake Michigan.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. Okay, that is maybe more attainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Right.
I'm down.
All right.
Perfect.
Take care.
So where are you guys going? Going tomorrow? Do you want to share that with everybody and talk about
in Port Stanley tomorrow, right on the north shore of Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So that will be. I think we're estimating that to be about an 85-mile ride.
Yeah.
So this will be the longest longest of all days, right?
Sure.
So far, anyway.
Yeah. Piece of cake.
Yeah, no problem. The wind will be at our backs and the roads will be perfect.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys. Yeah, of course. Hey, optimistic.
Yeah.
You guys. Congrats on the progress so far on your epic journey. Thank you. It's been such an honor to be part of this with you guys, and I look forward to continuing updates from you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Bye.